Tonight we're all about the ups and downs. Let's do this!
A New Breed of Golf with Michael Breed is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball in golf, and golf's symbol of excellence. And by FootJoy and the new Tour S, their most powerful shoe ever. And by Golf Pride, the #1 grip on tour.
Welcome to A New Breed of Golf. So glad you could join me here in the studio in front of the Microsoft Surface Hub. We're going to use this a lot tonight, but I'm going to talk to you about how you can use this club more effectively, the driver. What are the things that you need to pay attention to? Well, when we talk about being able to get this driver to go farther, there are things that you have to pay attention to with the word up. So I'm going to give you some ideas in this word up. Before we get to that, though, I want to create a baseline so that you know exactly what it looks like when we're altering some of the things that we're going to do. So I'm going to tee up a driver here for you and just hit a, is that in the green there, Greg? I'm good? Okay. So we're going to just give this a normal tee shot. This is a really good shot. Let's go see what our standard driver, club head speed, and all that stuff is. So when we get into this here, what you're going to see is club head speed's right around 97 miles an hour, which is pretty good. I need to get that a little bit faster. But what I really want to pay attention to is what's going on with my vertical launch? What can I do to get rid of some spin here? How can I get this golf ball to not just go farther, but carry a little bit farther? So we have to deal with some things in this word up that I was telling you about. And when we come back over here to the Microsoft Surface Hub, I want to write some stuff down for you so that you understand these keys in up. The first one we want to pay attention to is what we're doing with the ball. Let me just write this stuff down for you here. So we're going to get this thing, we're going to get this whiteboard up, get my pen. Our key word here is going to be up. And we're starting first with the ball. What are we doing with the ball? When you understand, when we talk about up, we talk about what we're doing with the golf ball. Typically move that up in your stance. Well, I want it up in your stance, but I also want that ball to get up into the air. Now, many of you, when you're teeing the ball up, you're using a standard tee height. I want you to use a tee that's a little bit taller. So I'm giving you this is the longer tee. And let me show you what it looks like next to this shorter tee here. And what you can see when I back out is the one that's on the right-hand side is quite a bit taller. That's going to allow me to hit up on this. And in order for me to be able to maximize what I'm doing with this driver, I've got to be able to hit up on the ball. So I want you to get yourself some new tees, those longer tees. Then what I want you to do is I want you to take that ball position and we're going to just move that up in our stance. So not only is the ball taller or more up in the air, but it's also up in our stance. And I want you to play that sort of right off the shoulder. Many of you talk about the heel. I like talking about it in the upper body. I want you to have that right in the shoulder there. So remember our standard launch angle there, our vertical launch was about 10 and change. Now what I'm going to get here from this more forward ball position and a little bit taller ball position is now when I hit this shot, and let's go see what this looks like, because this is going to be a lot better as well. And we want to pay attention to what's happening with the vertical launch here. And if you jump over here, what you're going to see is this vertical launch number, that got up to almost 15. So I got that ball up into the air. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Making sure that we get that golf ball a little bit taller and a little bit forward in the stance. Now, that's the first thing we want to do. The next thing we want to do is we want to understand when we're moving that up, I want to get my shoulder to get up into that air. So I've got to write that down. There's number one. Here's number two. We want that lead shoulder to be up. I want that lead shoulder to feel like it's higher than the trail shoulder significantly. So many times what happens to you is when you move that ball position forward in your stance, you let your shoulders get open and this lead shoulder gets low. I want you to make sure that you're feeling like that lead shoulder is going up into the air in this fashion. That's going to allow you to hit up on this ball a little bit more, and that's also going to help you get this ball to get up into the air. So set that up just like that. Get that ball up and up, and now that lead shoulder is just going to get a little bit taller. That's going to allow me, when I come back through, to get under the plane, which is also going to help launch this up into the air. So there's a really good tee shot. Let's go look at this one here because this is going to be up there as well. And you can see that, again, my club head speed up there is in that 97 miles an hour. Vertical launch, 14.5. So I'm still getting that ball to get up exactly where I want it to do just by making that little nudge. And by doing those three things in what I call pre-swing, what we're going to do is we're going to start getting this ball to launch in that higher window. Now what we got to do is we got to get this ball to go a little bit farther. And there's one more up that's going to help you gain this distance, all right? And it's what you're thinking about in that swing. So, number 3, and this is a big one, this is going to have to do with your arms and your hands. I'm just going to write hands. We want those to get up into the air. Now, Gibbsy, if you can give me a camera 1 here, what I mean by that is this. When we take the club back, many of you have your arms and your hands really low. I want you to feel like your arms are getting way up here just like this. And if you think about the players on the PGA Tour now who hit the ball really far, Bubba Watson, Jack Nicklaus was the guy who hit it really far, had very high hands, but Bubba Watson, Jimmy Walker, players like that, really, really high arms and hands, that gives you a little bit longer swing and a little bit more club head speed. So what I want to do is I want to be able to get my club head speed up. Remember, my club head speed before I hit that was around 97 miles an hour. So what I have to be able to do is I have to be able to launch this ball up into the air, but what I also want to be able to do is make it go far and fast. So what I'm going to do is take this back. I want to feel like my arms and hands are way up into the air there. Am I green light there, Greg? Okay, good. So now, hands are going up. So now the hands go up there. Let's see what we got over here. Come on over here because this is going to be fun. Again, that was just my first one. And look at what I did. All of a sudden, my club head speed got up into about 98.5. You know what we do over here? We round up. So now we're at 98, call it 99. We're at 99 miles an hour. Now what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to take all of these and put them all together. So I want to make sure that I've got my ball position is going to be up and up. I want my shoulder to be up, and then I want those hands to be up. So this is the one. This is the one where we're going to give this a little bit of club head speed, launch this ball up into the air, and get some distance. Remember, it's a good idea always to feel like you're going to take a practice swing, getting a little rehearsal with what you want to try to do. And now we come here and go through that checklist. So that ball is going to be up in our stance. We've already teed it up. Now the shoulder's going to be a little bit higher. And now I'm getting those arms and hands up into the air. And this is really hit. Come on up here. Let's see what we got. See, my club head speed broke the 100 barrier. So we come up here. Vertical launch is really good. I got look at that. Smash factor's at 1.5. That's great. Ball speed jumped up over 150. Club head speed's now at 105, 100.5. I round up. I told you that already, so that's 101. But my total distance now, I flew that about 250 and it rolled out to about 260. I need to be able to take some spin out, and what I got to be able to do, what I have to be able to do in order for me to take some spin out, I might check with what I'm doing with the loft of the golf club, possibly messing around with the shaft. So what you want to remember is this. When we're talking about getting this driver to maximize, go farther, create more consistency, shoot those lower scores, you got to keep that word up in your mind. We've got to make sure that that ball position is teed on a tee that's a little higher. Get it more up into the air. We want to move it up in our stance. And then get that lead shoulder so that lead shoulder is going up a little bit more than you're used to. That's going to allow you to get underneath it. And then you want to make sure that your arms or hands are getting up. And when you get those arms and hands up, well, what I'm telling you is you're going to start getting a lot more club head speed and hitting this driver a lot farther. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk to you about the downs here in the game. What are the things that you need to do to get up and down? Some short game stuff. We're going to cover that when we return to A New Breed of Golf. Back on A New Breed of Golf, I'm Michael Breed. Really excited about what we talked to you about with the driver. Now I want to start to address this short game. And if you want to lower your scores, this is an area of the game you've got to spend more time in. You've got to understand key things like launch angle and windows and spin rates and those other things you need to pay attention to. Now, when I talk about windows, and what I'm talking about with my students are the different launch angles that I want this golf ball to get into. So what you can see here with my chipping net is I've got 4 different windows. So I've got 1, 2, 3 here and 4. When I'm hitting these shots, I'm hitting them with the intent of putting the ball into a window because the shot calls for whatever that window is. So, for instance, if I want to hit a shot and I want this golf ball to get to that flag that we've got down there, and it's about 20 yards away, but I want to hit a lower shot. Say I've got a lot of green to work with. I want this ball to go into this second window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some alterations to an address position so that I can get this to go into that second window, and then when we hit that, that golf ball is going to run out and it's going to release quite a bit. In fact, that one a little bit more than I would want it to. So what we want to do is we want to start to understand, how do I teach myself how to get this into the window that I'm looking to get it into? Well, one of the things that you want to understand is anytime I'm trying to alter trajectory, I can always do it with the loft of the golf club. So that might mean that I would get a 9-iron or a sand wedge or a lob wedge or whatever. That's one of the things that you can do. One of the other things that you can do is you can alter what you're doing with the club face. So if I want to hit a shot that's going to be a little bit higher, I might be able to take the club face, open that club face up a little bit. So this one might go into number 3. And now what I do is I hit that shot, and what you'll see is that golf ball is going to go a little bit higher. The first one might have had an apex of about a foot. That one there apexed at about 3 feet. So what I'm able to do by altering the club face is also going to give me a different window that this golf ball is going to launch into. And you want to pay attention to that, because the idea that there's a right club or a right shot is wrong. It's the one that you see, the one that makes sense to you. You might want to be able to take a lob wedge and flight it down and put some spin on it. You might want to take a 54-degree wedge, open it up, pop it up into the air, and maybe not have as much spin. So you need to be able to alter these things and know what each golf club is going to do. Now, if I'm trying to get this golf ball to get a little bit higher into the air, I want to try to work with different club lofts and also opening up that club face. But one of the things that I want to try to do is make sure that I'm positioning my body closer or farther from that ball. So for instance, if I want to go up into the air, now what I want to do is I want to get this handle to get a little bit lower. That's going to ask me to get a little bit of a wider stance. And when I come through here, I'm making sure that I'm keeping that loft on the club. This golf ball is going to try to get up into that 4th window. And so you can see that went up into the 4th window. Remember, our last apex was at about 3 feet. That one there, I got it up 4 feet, same golf club. All I did was just let that handle get a little bit lower. And obviously for me to accommodate to that, I got to bend my knees and drop my tail down just a little bit. So now what I'm able to do is in effect put more loft on that. If I want to try to get this into that 1st window, then what I'm going to do is obviously I'm going to play that ball back in the stance, but I'm going to stand closer to it. So when I go into this position, you're going to see that my golf ball is going to be back in the stance, but now I'm getting really close to that golf ball. And when I get into there, now I'm going to hit a shot, and that's going to flight out a little bit low, and it's also going to have a little bit more run to it. The last one I hit had a 4-foot apex. That one had a 1-foot apex. So as we start to get closer and closer and closer to the ball, in fact, you can get to a point where, don't worry about shanking. So many of you are afraid, well, if I stand that close, am I going to shank it? No, you're not going to shank it. I promise. You just get in here. Look at how close I'm standing to this golf ball now. And that handle is standing way up into the air. Now that ball is back. And now all of a sudden I hit that one, and that one's going to come out and it's going to run really far. If I took a bigger swing, it would have gone a little bit farther. That apex said it was a 0 apex, which means it wasn't quite to 1 foot. So what you want to understand is ball position has a huge effect on what you're doing with the trajectory of the shot, and also letting this club get its own handle height. So when I get in here and I start to want to hit it high, that handle has to get low. And if I want to hit it low, my handle has to get high. And so what I want to be able to do is I want to alter the handle height for trajectory, as well as ball position front and back, and near and far. Those are things that are really important. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way. And now I'm going to see the shot that I want to hit into this hole location. I've got a 20-yard shot. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that what I want to do is I want to hit a shot that's going to go low and it's going to run a little bit. And you know what I'm going to ask you to do, Greg, here is this. Let's wipe out all those shots that I've hit previously there so we can show everybody how these trajectories are going to change, and you're going to see not just the change of trajectory, but also how this golf ball reacts when it gets on the ground. So here's my low shot. Remember, I'm going to grip down on this thing. That ball is going to be in the back of my stance, and I'm going to be fairly close to it. And now I'm hitting that shot, and that one just sprung off the club. I need a little practice. Let's try that again. So in there close. So there's that shot. There you go. That's a little bit better. Okay, now the trajectory on that one was pretty good. Spin rate was about 3,200. The club head was going at about, what is that club going at? About 20 miles an hour. So now let's say that what I want to do now, I want to try to get a little bit more spin, a little bit higher apex. I don't want that ball rolling away. Maybe I've got a bunker that I have to carry. Maybe there's some rough, something like that. I want a little higher trajectory. Now I want this thing to get into the third window. Those two were both in the second window. Now I want to get this into the third window. So if I'm going to get it into the third window, I'm going to grip this club a little bit open, maybe get a little bit farther away from this ball. This is going to allow me to move this club a little bit faster, which is going to give me a little bit more club head speed. I mean, a little bit more spin rate on that golf ball because the club head speed is going up. And as that club head speed is going up, the spin on the ball is going to increase. So the spin on that one was at about 3,200. Now I hit that shot there. Really good trajectory, really good spin on that one. And that one there, look at that spin rate. 5,600 on that. Excellent outcome to the shot, exactly what I wanted to have happen. And all I did there was I took the same exact club, opened that up, saw that window that I wanted to see thanks to the chipping net. I saw that window that I wanted to see, and ultimately I got the shot that I wanted. Now, we're going to go into that fourth one. Let's say that we've got a shot, and this is a downhill shot now. So I don't want that ball running away from me. I want this thing to have a little bit of a, and I've got to be a little bit careful here with all the lights and everything, but now I'm going into the fourth window. Now I'm hitting that shot. A little bit higher in the air. Excellent outcome on that one. That one also quite a bit, had a lot of spin on it, about 5,300. But look at that apex. That was a lot higher. My vertical launch was a lot higher. And obviously the outcome. Now, if you can, Greg, give me the overview so that I can see how the outcome of this, and this is going to be fascinating for you to understand, because what you're going to see is not just the difference in the apex, you're also going to see how much that golf ball rolled out and the variance of it. And what you're going to remember and realize is I didn't change golf clubs. I just made the golf club do what I wanted the ball to do, and I altered it. So when you're out there and you're thinking about these shots, what I want you to understand is you control what you want to try to do. It doesn't have to be solely the golf club. It can be you. Are you going to open up the club face? You're going to stand in a little closer. You're going to let the handle get a little bit more vertical, or you're going to let it get a little bit closer to the ground. This is wonderful. So look at all the difference that you see there. There's the red one. That's the highest one. Look at how there's one bounce in that, and then it didn't roll very much. It looked like it probably rolled out about maybe 3 feet. If I go to the green one, you can see the green one actually has 2 little humps in it after the first landing, and look at how much it rolled out. And so what you're seeing is you're seeing a variance in not just the height of the shot, but also that you're going to see a difference in when that ball lands, how much space between where that first touch is and where the second touch is. And so when I'm taking the shot, that very first one I hit the blue one, which I scalded, that was a bad one, but look at the space between the first touch and the second touch, and what you're going to notice is obviously it's a great distance. That means that ball had no spin whatsoever, and that's why that went over the green. So that wasn't the shot that I wanted to hit, obviously, and that's not the shot that you want to hit. You want to be able to control this stuff, and you want to be able to understand that you do it right when you get up there. You grab those clubs, you figure out what you see, make sure you understand what you're doing with the windows, and then when you get into that shot, you alter the club face, alter your ball position, do all those things, and see the windows. And once you see those windows, that's when you're going to really control your short game. You combine that with the stuff we talked about with the driver, handicap's going down. So we got that ball going up, handicap down, smiles coming back to your face. You're going to be shooting lower scores. I'm Michael Breed. Thank you so much for watching A New Breed of Golf. We'll see you next time.